Hey guys, and how about we watch a death battle, Pokemon Royale? So I would consider myself a fan of Pokemon. I've played all of the generations of the games except for 4th generation because on that one I was playing a wedlock and all my Pokemon kept dying and I got depressed and it took too much time, so I quit. But I watched the anime when I was younger, you know, the early days, and I really enjoyed it. So while I would consider myself a fan, I would not consider myself an authority. I know that I get facts wrong, but hey, everyone does. Also, keep in mind that I will be watching the entire death battle, so if you haven't seen it yet and you don't want spoilers, click off this video. Do not watch it yet. Feel free to come back later, but don't watch it yet. Also, be sure to support the official release. Click this little box right here or the link in the description to go straight to their video. Now, I never really do research before watching these death battles, as you can clearly tell, but this time I did do just a little bit because I was curious for myself who would win. Between Charizard, Venusaur, and Blastoise, I went to, the Pokemon Wikipedia, bulbapedia.net/wiki or whatever it is, and I looked up each of them. I checked out their base stats and their Pokédex entries. And Venusaur's Pokédex entry was pretty peaceful. It was just like, when it rains, his flower smells better, and stuff like that. And he gains energy from the sunlight and whatnot, so, that stuff was cool. He's more powerful during summertime. So, yeah, Blastoise, it talks about how he could, like his water jets, could punch through steel or concrete walls, and that he could fire bullets of water that were precise up to like 160 feet away. So I thought that was cool. And that he made himself heavy enough, or she, I guess, Blastoise could be she. Blastoise made itself heavy enough that it could withstand like the recoil of those powerful jets. So it's pretty durable, I'd say. As for Charizard, really powerful. It said that its fire breath could melt like anything, practically anything. But it also stated that it would not attack a weaker foe. Now, I don't know if any of this is going to be implemented into the death battle, but I did look it up, so I figured it was worth mentioning. So about the base stats, it turns out that Charizard is the fastest and has the most special attack and attack. Not special defense and defense. Venusaur and Blastoise win there. But yeah, Charizard has the most attack. And so to me, it seems like he's more powerful than Blastoise and Venusaur. So if they did implement their Pokédex entries into that, Charizard wouldn't use his Fire Breath against Venusaur or Blastoise. So I'm thinking they're not going to use it. The entry, that is. I think they're going to have him use Fire Breath. On that note, Venusaur is also faster than Blastoise. Barely, but it's worth mentioning too. But the way that I see it, if Charizard is going to use his Fire Breath, he's going to take out Venusaur, and then it'll be Charizard versus Blastoise. In which case, I think that Blastoise stands a pretty good chance, considering, he's Water type. So now to talk about their movesets really quick. I don't know if they're only going to go upon what they can learn by leveling up, or if they're also going to use TMs. If they also use TMs, Venusaur can learn Earthquake, which you might think would be good against Charizard, but Charizard's part flying, so that wouldn't do anything to him, so I think Venusaur is pretty much out of it. Though, if you're thinking that Venusaur can beat Blastoise, Blastoise can learn Ice Beam and a couple other ice attacks through TMs. So, he would have the upper hand there. Or at least he wouldn't be entirely disadvantaged. Now, if they actually use Venusaur's powder attacks, like Poison Powder, Sleep Powder, that sort of thing, and they make it accurate enough that the other Pokemon will fall asleep, that'll definitely, tip the scales a bit in Venusaur's favor. But aside from that, I think the Venusaur is going to lose, and I'm mainly thinking this battle is going to be between Charizard and Blastoise. So now that I've spoken a bit about the research that I've done, let me just take a minute to talk about my sort of favoritism toward them. My favorite line of the Kanto starters is Squirtle's line, so I will be rooting for Blastoise. My favorite, final evolution is Charizard, but I like Squirtle and Wartortle a lot more, and Blastoise I don't dislike, I just don't think that he's quite as cool. So yeah, there are my thoughts. I do like them all, I want to say that. I have played a game with each of them as my starter, and I absolutely loved them, They were great fun to use, they each kind of had their own playstyle a bit, but they were all fun, and I know that they can all be, devastating in their own ways. So, I'm looking forward to seeing what the people of Death Battle have put together for us. So with that said, let's get to watching. So, fingers crossed for Blastoise, but I do love them all.
For nearly 2 decades, people across the globe have struggled endlessly to make one crucial, exhausting, impossible choice.
That's right.
Bulbasaur, Squirtle, or Charmander.
It's finally time to learn if the one you chose was really the strongest.
I hope so.
And what better
again,
way
I've
than
chosen
with
them
their
all, but...
evolved forms. Venusaur, the pimply plant monster. Blastoise, the bazooka turtle. And
Bazooka
Charizard,
turtle.
the dragon.
For a fair assessment, we're examining maxed out wild Pokemon. For those of you nerdy enough to care, this means no special EV training, no Mega Evolutions, and no
TMs.
bred
Okay,
or otherwise
gotcha.
unnaturally learned attacks.
Okay, wild
This way,
Pokemon.
we'll avoid any and all player influence.
He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
That's pretty cool.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
All right, here we go. Here we go.
The first starter Pokemon
I love this
evolves
music.
from Bulbasaur
I love Pokemon
to
music.
Ivysaur, and finally to Venusaur, the seed Pokemon.
Yep.
Becoming uglier and uglier with every form.
That's why I don't like
Seriously,
Venusaur
what the
as much,
hell
to
is
be
that
honest.
thing?
Of the 3 starters, Venusaur is the most well-rounded and easiest to raise. In combat, it relies on its above-average special attack and special defense, or non-physical combat.
Old Froggy Plant has a variety of moves. Vine whips for slapping bitches, and Razor
Oh,
Leaf can cut
Cyndaquil!
through whole trees.
That fight's hardly
Then
fair.
There's the less action-packed skills like Sleep Powder, which is used to put foes to sleep and take women home from bars.
Venusaur's adaptability is its greatest asset. It can absorb health with Leech Seed like some kind of jungle vampire,
Which is
or
fantastic.
simply
I love
heal on its
Leech
own
Seed.
by using Synthesis. It also knows Sweet Scent, which aids the poor accuracy of the sleep and poison powders.
But
Okay.
why bother with poisons and powders when you've got a super laser? Venusaur can absorb so much sun energy that he can fire the solar beam.
Though if you don't have, intense sunlight, it does take time to charge. I don't know if they're gonna incorporate
When I
that too
find
much.
flowers that can do that, I might actually take up gardening. Try and pollinate now, bees.
In real
Yeah,
life,
suck it, bees.
celestially powered lasers rely on heated magnesium combustion. In order to fire, the solar beam's temperature needs to be over 6,700 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, wow.
Unfortunately, the solar beam is so powerful, it takes twice as long to perform as any other
Yeah.
attack. As a grass and poison type, Venusaur is extremely effective against water-type Pokemon.
But keep him away from flying and fire types, because as we all know, plants burn and birds fucking hate grass.
Yet, Venusaur's well-rounded skills and tricky moveset could outsmart the competition.
Tauros.
Venusaur, the final form of the Bulbasaur evolution.
Yep.
This seed Pokemon soaks up the sun's rays as a source of energy.
That's true. We know that.
The
Blastoise.
second starter Pokemon evolves from Squirtle to Wartortle, and finally
Wartortle's just
to
so cool.
Blastoise,
I love
the
Wartortle.
shellfish Pokemon.
So how did this thing come about? Did a turtle get really drunk one night and then came across a tank and was like, I'll put my dick in that. Then 9 months later, the tank showed up at his door and was like, boom, this is yours. And then he raised it out of shame until one day it evolved, and then all the other turtles were like, that's fucking awesome. So then they all started plowing tanks.
Sure, why not? Blastoise firmly
Oh, that
boasts
was
defense
beautiful.
over offense,
That
using
was
his
beautiful.
breeding bulk to outlast and overpower foes. Like a stone
Yeah,
firm upon the
dang.
shore, he can take wave after wave of punishment.
As poetic as that was, he won't be winning any marathons. He's almost as slow as a tortoise, which makes sense, unlike the
'Cause
giant
he's a
gun
tortoise.
sticking out of his back.
Blastoise can significantly reduce incoming damage with iron defense, barrel through
Mm-hmm.
hazards with rapid spin, and guard against any and all attacks with protect.
He can chomp foes with bite and crack heads with skull bash, but most of his arsenal focuses on water power.
Yep.
Blasting foes with water gun, water pulse, aqua tail, and bubbles.
But despite its lack in attack type diversity, Blastoise can maximize its watery weaponry with Rain Dance, a rainstorm that amplifies water type moves and blocks out the sun.
Which you
But
kind of
his
think would
ultimate
screw
attack
over
is
Venusaur a
Hydro
bit.
Pump, where he blasts water out of his twin cannons with enough force to accurately punch through steel at a range of 160 feet.
Yeah. See, I did do my research.
High-pressure water jet cutters are used industrially to cut through metal with at least 55,000 psi, or pounds per square inch. By measuring
they use
Blastoise's
very
cannons
small
in comparison to his
amounts of
size,
water.
we can tell his hydro pump has a power of 90,000 psi.
Oh,
That'll
dang.
get the stains off your patio, along with your patio and possibly house.
Blastoise is effective against fire-type Pokemon, but weak to grass and electric.
And when he's not battling, Blastoise can be found training on secluded islands to strengthen his combat skills.
If it
If that's
plays
what you
its
call
defenses right, Blastoise just might outlast everyone.
Blastoise's
That's kinda what I'm
strength
thinking.
lies in its power rather than its speed. Its shell is like armor, and attacks from the hydro cannon on its back are virtually unstoppable.
The final starter Pokemon
Here we go for
evolves from
Charizard.
Charmander to
Many people's
Charmeleon,
favorites,
and
I know.
finally to Charizard,
Or favorite.
the flame Pokemon.
I would so ride that into battle.
Well, that could be tough. A full-grown Charizard is
like
only
5
5
feet.
foot 7
Yeah.
inches tall.
What? That's bullshit. I want to ride a dragon to burn the villages of my enemies, not hang out with it on the sofa.
Despite its size, Charizard is extremely fast and extremely powerful.
That'll be interesting
Its
to play
speed and special
Charizard in the
attack
new Brawl,
eclipse the
or
other two
Smash
starters
Bros.
twice over, the trade-off being unfortunate frailty.
But since
Right.
he can fly, it's pretty hard to get a hold of him.
Charizard's moveset is incredibly diverse, ranging from the obvious Fire Breath to flying, dragon, and even ghost-type attacks.
At
Ghost
close
type.
range, he'll always have an edge up by using either Slash, Dragon
Shadow
Claw,
Claw,
or
gotcha.
Shadow Claw. He can strike from above with Wing Attack or Air Slash, but his real strength lies in the flames.
Yep.
He'll burn and bite you with Fire Fang, trap you in a vortex of embers with Fire Spin, smash you apart with Flare Blitz,
At the cost of self-inflicted recoil damage.
and
course.
of course burn you to cinders with Flame Burst or Flamethrower.
Charizard can reportedly burn through solid stone. This means his flamethrower reaches temperatures over 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yep.
Charizards are aggressive and warrior-like, and will actively seek fights with stronger opponents.
The fire and flying type combination makes Charizard doubly effective against grass Pokemon, but weak to water types. If it spends too much time in a heavy rainstorm, its flame will go out. Permanently.
Aw,
But he's so fast
which
and
is so
deadly,
sad.
he might just overpower his enemies before they know what hit him.
Charizard, the flame Pokemon. When competing in
Dex.
intense battles, Charizard's flame becomes more intense as well.
I'm getting ready to pause it now.
All right, the combatants are set. Let's end this debate once and for all.
It's time for a death battle! With the Pokemon!
Pause. Okay, that was pretty good timing for the pause. Okay, so really quick, let's cover a few things rather. They didn't mention anything about Charizard not attacking foes weaker than him with his Fire Breath, so I'm pretty sure he's going to use Fire throughout, despite the fact that he has them up on speed. He has Venusaur with the advantage, you know, Fire against Grass, and he has more attack and special attack than both Venusaur and Blastoise. So yeah, I'm not gonna count on that. I do want to say with Blastoise, he is slow, and part of that is his heaviness, I imagine, for wanting to, you know, be able to withstand the recoil of his own attacks. I also want to say that I think he could use Rapid Spin, or even the propulsion of his jets, his water jets, to make him go fast if he needs to. Obviously not throughout the entire battle, but, you know, in quick situations and stuff. Withdraw could also help, but if we're going to take into account that Charizard's breath can melt through practically anything, I'm pretty sure it could get through Blastoise's shell, his defenses, even though he is water type. Blastoise's Rain Dance, if he actually ends up using that, it could cause a lot of trouble for Venusaur, as Venusaur relies on the sun for energy and for Solar Beam. It could cause a lot of trouble for Charizard, as that'll not only weaken his fire attacks, but it'll also potentially kill him if it can put his tail out. Venusaur, again, I really think he's only too much of a threat if he can use the powders correctly. So if he gets a chance to make one of them poison or to make one of them fall asleep or something like that, then I think Venusaur has a chance. Otherwise, I really am putting this battle between Charizard and Blastoise. I think that Blastoise is going to win, and I want Blastoise to win, but Charizard does have a lot going for him. Again, speed, the intensity of his flame, so I really don't know. He does have a diversity of attacks too, which really could be used to his advantage, but we'll see how he uses them. So let's get back to watching. Okay, and play. Oh, there's a little. Hello, little guy. How are you doing today? Oh. Rare candies. And that's how they do the no EV-IV thing. Just a bunch of rare candies. That's brilliant. I thought they were just going to start us off with these three. No, I love that. Alright, fine. Ow. He's fine. That's not doing much. Okay. He's just in his shell. Did Charizard just use Blastoise as a weapon? Again, it's like they're only fighting. Why did Charizard not go after Venusaur first? Oh. And their evasiveness is down, right? Oh! He's actually asleep, dang. Season Solar Beam. Oh. But it's not that much considering Grass against Fire. What happened? Everything is black. Okay. Oh, they destroyed the forest. All right. Oh, wing attack. Oh, the flower. Oh, that's not pretty. Oh, okay. Poor Venusaur. I think I was right, though, in terms of it being between chart. Oh, come on, Blastoise, wake up! You've had plenty of time. Like a tumbleweed. Good morning! It's combat to do, by the way. Oh my gosh, whoever animated this, the Molly person, right? That's fantastic. I love this so far. Oh snap. So Charizard's weaker, Blastoise is stronger and long enough. Oh dang. Ow, 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 ow! Oh, bloody! Oh! Oh! You look so vulnerable, Charizard. His head's... Oh, he's inflating him. I thought his head was just gonna come off. Oh my gosh. That was brutal. Wow.
Charizard! No! Oh, and Froggy plant whatever. Of course.
Charizard's greater speed allowed first attack, and its proud warrior mentality led to striking Blastoise first.
Oh,
But
is that
Venusaur
what that
knew
was?
He had to take Charizard down right away. So everyone's favorite fire lizard was doomed, taking too much damage early on from 2 different angles.
Okay.
But poor Venusaur didn't stand a chance against Charizard's dual typing, and the bulky defense of Blastoise was more than enough to outlast both of them. Also, since Charizard and Venusaur do not naturally learn Sunny Day, they could not counter the Rain Dance.
But Wizard, so did they all just counter each other?
No.
Yes, the rock, paper, scissors factor is a bit tricky. Grass beats water, water beats fire, fire
I
beats
totally don't
grass.
even read
But
into that. There's
ultimately,
so
the
many more
core
things
of
going
any
into it.
Pokemon battle boils down to mathematics.
Yeah.
Every attack does a specific amount of damage with specific effects to
Just so many
specific
more
types with
factors.
a specific accuracy.
And each Pokemon's stats are clearly displayed in the good old Pokédex.
Yep.
So, by comparing every move, effect, choice order, and likeliness of occurrence, there are over 7,000 different possible ways this Battle Royale could play out.
Wow.
And out of all potential matches, Blastoise wins the majority.
Even
That's
when
pretty
removing
awesome.
type effectiveness entirely and pitting attack and special attack against defense and special defense, factoring in health and speed, the turtle tank still takes it. Blastoise H2 owned.
The winner is Blastoise.
Yay, Blastoise. All right, that was good. Let's see what this next time
on
is.
Death Battle.
No idea who that is.
All the characters like no one ever did. Like and subscribe to Death Battle like you just did. I rhymed it with did. It's not my best work. But you can stop watching now. Click another or you're a jerk. Death Battle!
That was fantastic. I love these guys. All right, so let's talk about the death battle now. I don't want to rub it in anyone's faces, but I was right. No, I'm just glad that I thought of the right kinds of things, you know? I tried to put their, their stats against each other and their movesets against each other, though I did focus more on the TMs, which, was thrown out the window right away. But, again, it's hard to argue either way because it made sense to me considering I was thinking Blastoise was going to win for the reasons that he did. I thought the Venusaur didn't really stand a chance against, Charizard because, well, first, I did think that Charizard would go after Venusaur, like, right away. But apparently his warrior mentality or whatever that was kept him from doing that. I guess it was a sense of honor sort of thing. But I didn't think the Venusaur could take care of Blastoise in time. He actually did get to use the powders, which surprised me a little bit because I figured that with accuracy, it just wasn't going to happen. I know that whenever I try to use them in the games, I always miss, and it's annoying. But even then, Charizard wasn't affected, and so it became a battle between, fire flying and like grass poison, right, Venusaur? So it just didn't work out for him. I didn't even think about the fact that Charizard was weaker by that point. I just thought that Blastoise was going to win either way. I don't know how it would turn out if if Charizard hadn't been weaker first, like if the battle were just Charizard versus Blastoise. I guess I can't really say. I'd still be rooting for Blastoise because he's my favorite, and I think that he has a lot of good advantages, but I don't know. But yeah, I'm happy with how that death battle turned out. In terms of animation, I thought that was fantastic. There were, you know, like plays on Pokemon itself. It was just a more realistic battle. Like, I'm glad the entire thing wasn't like he did this and he did this kind of thing like you'd see in a Pokemon game. I thought it was really cool, really well thought out, and I liked how at the end they talked about how with all of the combinations, this is the percentage that, you know, like Venusaur would win, the percentage Blastoise would win, the percentage Charizard would win. So there are many ways that the other two could have won, but in most of them, Blastoise would have won, so he was the winner. I really liked that because it shows that they're just taking like everything into account. I truly believe that they do. So yeah, there was the death battle. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that, and if you did, of course, feel free to like, comment, and if you're new, even subscribe. It means a lot. It really helps me out, and I would love to have you guys. So tune in next time for my next video, and until then, take care.